For years, WWE fans wondered if they would ever see Big Cass walk through those curtains again. After all, his departure from the company was surrounded by controversy, personal struggles, and the kind of uncertainty that often marks the end of a wrestling career. Many believed his story had already been written. Others assumed that the door to WWE had been permanently closed. But wrestling has always been a business built on second chances, and now it appears that one of the most unexpected comebacks in recent memory is finally becoming reality. The latest episode of Monday Night Raw gave fans something they hadn't expected. Instead of another surprise return or dramatic confrontation, WWE aired a mysterious vignette that immediately caught the attention of the wrestling world. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't filled with over-the-top action. Instead, it focused on something far more powerful, real life. The video looked back at the darkest moments of Big Cass' career, acknowledging the hardships he faced outside the ring. Rather than pretending those years never happened, WWE leaned directly into them, presenting a story of struggle, redemption, and perseverance. That creative direction instantly sparked conversation across the wrestling community. Fans noticed that this wasn't the kind of introduction usually given to a returning villain. Instead, it felt deeply emotional, almost inspirational. The tone suggested that WWE wants audiences to sympathize with Cass rather than boo him. If that interpretation is correct, then Big Cass won't simply be returning to television. He'll be returning as a completely different character than the one fans remember from 2018. Adding even more excitement to the speculation is the timing. Reports suggest that Big Cass could officially return on the episode of Raw immediately following SummerSlam. While WWE has not officially confirmed every detail, the post-SummerSlam Raw has historically been one of the biggest episodes of the entire year. It often serves as the beginning of new storylines, shocking debuts, surprise returns, and major character changes. If WWE truly wants to reintroduce Big Cass to its audience, there may not be a better stage than the Raw after one of the company's biggest premium live events. Of course, many fans are also wondering whether WWE might accelerate those plans and have Cass appear during SummerSlam itself. Wrestling history has shown countless examples of WWE using major events to generate unforgettable moments. A surprise appearance during SummerSlam could instantly create a huge reaction before transitioning into a full storyline the following night on Raw. At this point, that possibility remains speculation, but it is certainly something fans will be watching closely as SummerSlam approaches. What's making this comeback especially meaningful is that it isn't simply about bringing back another former superstar. It's about the journey that brought him here. When Big Cass first arrived on WWE's main roster alongside Enzo Amore in 2016, the duo quickly became one of the most entertaining acts in the company. Their entrance alone would energize arenas. Enzo's rapid-fire microphone skills combined perfectly with Cass' imposing 7-foot frame. They weren't immediately pushed as world champions, but they connected with audiences almost instantly. Merchandise sold well. Crowds repeated every catchphrase. Their popularity seemed destined to lead to championship gold sooner rather than later. Unfortunately, wrestling careers rarely follow the perfect script. After the team split, WWE attempted to establish Big Cass as a dominant singles competitor. His incredible size made him look like a future main event star, and several high-profile feuds suggested that management believed he had tremendous potential. However, injuries soon interrupted his momentum. Recovering from serious physical setbacks is difficult enough, but behind the scenes, even greater challenges were beginning to emerge. Cass later admitted publicly that he was dealing with significant personal issues, including alcohol abuse and mental health struggles. His life began spiraling in ways that many fans never fully understood at the time. Eventually, those problems contributed to his release from WWE in 2018. To many observers, it appeared that his wrestling career had reached its conclusion before it had ever truly fulfilled its promise. Yet sometimes the most compelling stories begin after everything falls apart. Following his departure, Big Cass disappeared from the spotlight for a while. Instead of immediately chasing another wrestling contract, he focused on rebuilding himself. He openly discussed seeking help, confronting addiction, and learning how to regain control over his life. It wasn't a quick transformation. Recovery rarely is. It required honesty, discipline, and a willingness to acknowledge mistakes rather than hide from them. Those efforts gradually became visible whenever he returned to independent wrestling events. Fans who saw him perform noticed someone who appeared healthier, more focused, and more appreciative of every opportunity. His in-ring performances improved, his confidence returned, and perhaps most importantly, people backstage consistently spoke about how much he had matured as both a performer and as a person. That reputation eventually opened doors elsewhere, including successful appearances in TNA Wrestling, where he competed under the name W. Morrissey. His work there received widespread praise, showing that he was far more than simply a giant with impressive size. He developed into a more complete performer capable of telling compelling stories inside the ring. Now it appears those years of rebuilding have finally led him back to WWE. One of the strongest reactions to the recent Raw vignette came from WWE Hall of Famer Bully Ray, someone whose history with Big Cass goes back to Cass' earliest days on the main roster. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray reflected not only on Cass' professional growth but also on one of the lowest points of his personal life. Ray revealed that there was a time when he and Tommy Dreamer literally had to put Big Cass into an ambulance because Cass had reached rock bottom due to his substance abuse issues. It was an incredibly personal story, and one that highlighted just how serious Cass' struggles had become. According to Ray, seeing the recent WWE vignette reminded him of how far Cass has traveled since those dark days. Rather than focusing on past mistakes, Bully Ray emphasized the incredible progress Cass has made. He expressed genuine happiness about seeing the former WWE star receive another opportunity and even mentioned that he hopes Enzo Amore might someday return as well. While there is no indication that Enzo is involved in WWE's current plans, the idea of eventually reuniting one of the company's most popular tag teams from the mid-2010s has certainly sparked plenty of discussion among fans. Still, even if Enzo never returns, many believe Big Cass no longer needs to rely on that partnership to succeed. The recent vignette strongly suggests WWE wants audiences to invest in Cass as an individual rather than simply remember him as one half of a successful tag team. By acknowledging his real-life battles, WWE has created something authentic. Wrestling fans often respond most passionately when characters blur the line between fiction and reality, and Cass' story does exactly that. Instead of portraying him as an unstoppable monster, WWE appears to be presenting him as someone who survived his own personal demons. That naturally positions him as a babyface, a role that many fans never imagined for Big Cass during his original run. Years ago, his towering size made him an easy choice to play an intimidating heel. Today, however, his greatest strength may actually be his vulnerability and honesty. That emotional connection could become one of the biggest success stories of the year if WWE handles it correctly. The timing also couldn't be more interesting. SummerSlam is expected to reshape several major storylines, and the Raw immediately afterward traditionally introduces fresh rivalries heading toward the fall season. A returning Big Cass could instantly become part of that landscape, whether he's inserted into a major feud, aligns himself with another superstar, or simply begins rebuilding his reputation one match at a time. His physical presence alone guarantees attention. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, Cass remains one of the largest athletes in professional wrestling. WWE has always valued unique attractions, and few competitors can match his combination of height, athleticism, and experience. But unlike his first run, this comeback won't simply be about impressive size. It will be about resilience. Fans love redemption stories because they reflect something bigger than wrestling. They remind people that failure doesn't have to define someone's future. Mistakes can become lessons. Setbacks can become motivation. And sometimes the most satisfying victories happen outside the championship picture. That's why the recent vignette resonated with so many viewers. It wasn't asking fans to forget the past. It was asking them to recognize how much someone can change. If Big Cass does make his long-awaited return around SummerSlam on the Raw immediately following the event, one thing seems increasingly clear. WWE isn't bringing back the same performer who left 6 years ago. They are introducing someone who has endured hardship, rebuilt his life, and earned another opportunity to prove himself on wrestling's biggest stage. Whether this comeback leads to championship success, memorable rivalries, or even a reunion with Enzo somewhere down the road remains to be seen. For now, the biggest victory may simply be the fact that Big Cass is getting another chance to write the ending to his WWE story. And if the emotion surrounding that first vignette is any indication, fans may be ready to welcome him back with louder cheers than anyone ever expected.